What's happening, everybody? Justin from DonkeyPunch Central, bringing you some more solo videos from the 2011 DonkeyPunch Central Awards. We're still in our MMA section. What we're going to be talking about right now are my personal top 5 knockouts of the year and my personal top 5 submissions of the year. We'll start with the submissions. And I just want to give, excuse me, I just want to give a little bit of love to the submissions that were given some consideration, but ultimately didn't make it on the list. Bellator 46, Pat Curran on Palomino. It was a beautiful Peruvian necktie. Pablo Garza, rather, sorry, on Yves Jabouin at UFC 129. It was a flying triangle choke that was just gorgeous. Nate Diaz on Takanori Gomi at UFC 135. What was great about that, it started with an armbar, sub-chained into a triangle, sub-chained again, back into the armbar to finish the fight. So that was absolutely gorgeous, and that damn near made it. But, just missed it by that much. Taekwon Zhang on Reinhardt at UFC 127. It was just a solid guillotine choke. Plus, I wanted to give some love to Taekwon Zhang, the Mongolian Wolf, just because of his nickname. And also Ikehisa Minowa on Barn at Dream 17. It was a scarf hold, arm lock, plus a neck crank, and I love Minowa Man, so I just wanted to give a little love there as well. Alright, so my personal top 5 submissions of the year. Number 5, Vinny Magalhães on Vladimir Nemkov at M1 Challenge 25. What has now been lovingly dubbed the Vinny Plata. Basically, it was a mounted gogoplata, which also included a neck crank. So he, it was absolutely gorgeous. And M1 had put on some great fights this year. M1, I don't think, gets the recognition that it deserves in terms of great fights and great events. But this was most certainly one of them. And Vinny Plata on Nemkov is my number 5 on the year. Number 4 was Hale on Fiketti, Bellator 38. It was an inverted triangle choke. Typically your triangle choke is from your back. Hale's triangle choke, he was basically facing the mat, so he was literally inverted the opposite way that he was supposed to be, and finished him with a triangle choke from that position, and it was just beautiful, off the charts. That was my number 4. There's 3 better than that. My number 4 on the year. Number 3, Shinya Aoki on Lyle Beerbohm at Strikeforce 33. This was just a simple neck crank, but everything leading up to it just shows why Shinya Aoki is one of the greatest grapplers in MMA. Because, Beerbohm's no bitch on the ground. And Aoki basically, once Aoki got him there, it was just like just a grappling clinic. Like, it was just absolutely gorgeous. So Aoki on Beerbohm is my number 3. My number 2, and this is a little bit of maybe a little bit of a homer pick just because I like Joe Lauzon so much. Joe Lauzon on Patrick Warburton at Ultimate Live 4. He submitted him with a Kimura, which is an arm lock, but he also had a body lock. Sort of around Warburton's waist, around his hips or whatever. So it was a Kimura, but it also threw in the body lock. It was basically almost like a Kimura from the bottom, if you're trying to visualize it. I like Joe Lauzon a lot, so obviously. So that was a little bit of a homer pick, but it was still a great submission. That's my number 2 on the year. And my number 1, of course, mentioned it in the previous video, Chang Sung-jung, the Korean Zombie, on Leonard Garcia at Ultimate Fight Night 24, Eddie Bravo's Twister submission. There's all kinds of videos of it on YouTube. There's t-shirts made out of it now. Just absolutely blew every other submission out of the water this year. Gonna move on to knockouts, and once again, just like the last one, I want to give some love to some knockouts that were given consideration but ultimately didn't make the list. Jake Ellenberger on Jake Shields at Ultimate Fight Night 25. Jake Shields has not had an easy go of things in the UFC, and He got in there with Jake Ellenberger, and Ellenberger is a big bad man at this weight, and he hit him with just hit him with some clinch knees. Took him, and that his clinch knees took him down. He finished him with some ground and pound, and it was one of the most shocking wins of the year, because I think most people thought that Shields would, Shields lost to GSP, but I mean, he's going to beat Ellenberger. But no, Ellenberger went out and finished the fight. Patricky Pitbull on Imada at Bellator 39. This was set up by a flying knee, a beautiful flying knee, which had Imada just sort of stumbling all over the cage and everything, and Patricky Pitbull comes in and he's just throwing hooks, just throwing straight hooks, and so it was just the fact that he was just finishing it with nothing but hooks was made it noteworthy to me. Carlos Condit on Stun Gun Kim at UFC 132, another flying knee, finished it off with some ground and pound. Anderson Silva on Vitor Belfort, obviously the standing sort of front kick, which caught him right up under the jaw, finished it with a little bit of ground and pound, gorgeous. In the same vein, Lyoto Machida on Randy Couture. I just spit there, I hope everybody caught that. Yeah, Lyoto Machida on Randy Couture, UFC 129. The same front kick, but he tossed a jump into it, and just, I mean, what do you say? It was, it was great. It was a phenomenal knockout. And Sam Stout on Eve Edwards at UFC 131. Just this gigantic, just this bam, huge left hook. And it just, just clobbered Eve Edwards. But now we're into our actual top 5. My number 5 knockout of the year, and this one hurts me because I like the guy that got knocked out, but that's okay. Travis Brown on Stefan Struve at UFC 130, and that was a Superman punch. And moves like Superman punches and things like that, they're less frequent in the heavyweight division for sure, which kind of made it a little more special. But Travis Brown nails this Superman punch just as Struve is coming in. Stefan Struve's 6'11", something ridiculous like that, and when he gets hit with the Superman punch, it's like he took a shotgun blast to the face. There's videos of that on YouTube and everything as well. Just a great Superman punch, and just Struve's head almost just like flies right off. So that was my number 5 on the year. Number 4, Brendan Schaub on Mirko Krokop, UFC 128, and this was just as big as like the Sam Stout left hook knockout of Eve Edwards was. This massive overhand right by Brendan Schaub on Krokop, and just dings him behind the ear and face plants, and Krokop was done. That's my number 4. Number 3, again, personal knockout of the year. Number 3, Czech Congo on Pat Barry at Ultimate Live 4. Pat Barry was well on his way to winning this fight. Looked like he had Congo on the ropes, close to finishing him. He comes in, and Congo smokes him with this like falling backwards almost uppercut, and knocks Barry clean out. And it was the greatest like single move comeback I think I've ever seen in an MMA fight, and it's just a beautiful uppercut, almost while he's falling backwards, and then he just falls on him and finishes him with some ground and pound. But that uppercut was just fantastic. My number 2 on the year, John McDessie on Watson at UFC 129. This was a spinning back fist. I love spinning back fists, and this one was pulled off spectacularly, only to be beaten by my number 1 knockout on the year. Gusanov on Jeffries, M1 Challenge 26, which was another spinning back fist. The beautiful thing about this one was I think everybody could see it coming except Jeffries. Like, Gusanov steps over, and he's almost shoulder, almost like he's going to throw a football with his left hand to him before he spins. So it's like he even took a step into it, and he's like giving Jeffries every opportunity to get out of the way of what's coming, and he doesn't. So Guzanov just whap and finishes the fight. That was clearly my knockout of the year. There you go. That was my top 5 submissions, my top 5 knockouts on the year. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're watching all the rest of the videos. Got a couple more MMA videos to clean up, and then we will be moving on to video games and movies.